What's up, everybody? My name is Evan. This is Corey Country, and today we're going to do a quick one. I just started turning on my lathe, and if you are following me on my Instagram, which you should be, I just started turning on the lathe, and it's probably the most fun I've had ever. So I'm going to try doing something. I bought a bottle opener kit from Rockler, so I'm going to try turning a little handle for it. This is my first one. Came out really smooth. It's not in focus whatsoever. Came out really smooth. I didn't size it to the bottle opener itself. This is more of just, I had a blank of hard maple from a previous project, so I just kind of threw it on there. Instead, I glued this up, which is just 2 pieces of maple and a strip of walnut in the middle of it. I'm going to do my best to cut it down on the bandsaw real quick. I'm going to trim off the edges, square it up a little bit, and then I might cut down the corners too. It'll make gouging away all the rest of the stuff a little easier. I'm going to shut up now and just kind of start cutting down because it is hotter than holy hell outside, and I need to shut this door, otherwise I'm going to suffocate out here. Alright, so I got it cut down into a manageable piece. It's going to be about the size of the handle that I need. It's a little oversized, which is perfect because I'll need to obviously trim down the corners on it. It's not cut perfectly even, but what I am going to do is I'm going to put the live center in the middle of the walnut because that's how I want the handle. I want the handle to have the strip of walnut in the middle. So it's going to be a little lopsided, but it's nothing huge, so it shouldn't shake anything. We'll see how it works. If it's too bad, I'll go back and I'll trim out the one side that's a little bigger. But I didn't want to take too much material off right at the start. So yeah, I'm just using the live center on the tailstock, and then look for the caption on the screen because I forgot what this part's called. Almost got that round. It might turn out to be a little too thin, we'll see. Alright, we're just about, we're pretty much round there. Alright, so now I gotta figure out exactly how I want to do this, because I don't have as much tailstock as I thought I was going to have. Let's actually see if this end, yeah, see that's already too thin over here. The very end, yeah, I'd rather do that here. Alright. Oof. Alright, so the next 30 seconds or so is basically just a big old time lapse of how bad I messed this piece up. So when I originally cut it down on the bandsaw, I made it just way too thin. For the parts and decoration that I wanted to give this handle, it was just, I took too much material off to begin with. So this is me screwing up the hole as well. Putting it in the bandsaw after you turn the piece is, just don't do that. It's not bad. So you can see that my hole was a little off center. We're gonna focus on me here. There we go. The whole thing is kind of shifted over that way. Looks kind of goofy. There's a little bit of a shelf on this end here. So now I know for next time I need to just make sure that when I go to attach this, I I drill the hole first. So, oh well, lessons learned. Alright, take 2. I have another one glued up. The walnut strip is a bit thicker on this one. I had another piece that I probably could have used, but it was still a little on the thin side, and I didn't want to risk not having enough material again. So made it a little bit thicker on the inside. The real way to do this, which I wholeheartedly ignored, I'm going to put a live center on both sides. I'm going to spin one side down to a circle, and then I have a chuck. I'll be able to put that piece into this chuck, and then we can spin it going forward like that. Should have done it this way in the beginning, completely ignored it, but once it's in the chuck, I also have one of these that I can put into the tailstock, and then we can drill our 1/2-inch hole into it, which will absolutely be in the center of the piece at that point. And then once we drill a hole, we can put the live center back in. I'm not going to use the live center that came with the lathe. I'm going to use this one. That way it'll be able to fit anywhere into that hole that we put. It'll keep it nice and centered for us. So then we won't have the issue with getting that little shoulder, not having the hole perfectly centered. Basically, we're doing it the real way this time because I read how to do it. So 10 points for instructions. Yeah, let's get to it. So set instructions that I found were pretty bad instructions. Basically what you want to do first is drill your hole and then spin around that. Alright, so after many attempts trying to use the drill bit into the other side to get the hole in there, I wasn't working it out. So instead what I did was I squared up this back piece, I brought it to my drill press, drilled the hole, and now I'm going to spin it around that hole, which I know is centered and square, because now the axis that I'm spinning it on is based on that hole itself. And this is the live center that I'm using, as opposed to this one, which just has a point there, and then it's got a little bit of a ridge here, but I didn't want that. I just wanted that one so I know it would fit nice and snug into that hole. Let's get to it. I'm seriously contemplating just turning random pieces of wood and speeding up the footage just to watch for myself. So if anyone's interested, leave a comment. Alright, so now that I have that side, it's hotter than hell in this mask. Now that I have that side rounded out, I'm going to get my calipers and measure the hardware and make sure I don't go any smaller than that where I'm going to attach. And this is very similar to what we did last time, where we just take this just on there. So now we have our caliper set for that, and then we can take a little bit off, while we fit the end of this, so the hardware won't be sticking over or be closed in on either side. Still a little bit tight. That is almost there. I'm really trying to sneak up on this. Oh, perfect. That way I mark out exactly where I'm going to be at. I'm going to move down to a smaller one now, just to kind of get this curve a little tighter. Alright, I like that, so that'll probably stay. I might do a little more shaping on this. I don't know if I like it so bubbly. And then this I'm going to taper down a little bit about here, and then it'll taper back out. Alright. I like that. I like that a lot. Alright, so just a couple of random design touches that I want to put on it. Ooh, I'm covered in dust. So one of the ones I want to do is just a couple like small little parting knife cuts, like just 2 of them. I don't want to have to worry about spacing too hard, so. Yeah, those look cool. I like that. Sweet. And then I'm just gonna round off a little bit more on this side here. Almost where I want it. Alright, I'm digging where it's at right now. It's got a decent handle, even for a little bit bigger of a hand. It'll fit. I have generally small hands, so it's still comfortable for me to use. It'll definitely be comfortable for someone with a little bit bigger of a hand to use, which the person I'm giving it to has a bit bigger of a hand than I. So now we're gonna do some sanding. So for the sanding, I have this little nifty thing that I picked up at, you guessed it, Rockler. It's a little box sanding strips. It's got 5 different rolls in it. I mean, I like it. It goes from 150 to 600, which is plenty enough for me. And then I'm actually gonna unplug and lower the speed on this while I do my sanding. All right, we are all lowered. So now, I'm just gonna take my sanding pad, or my sanding strip here. So these get pretty hot, so I can't really do too much like pressing with my hand, otherwise I start burning my finger. Like that, ow. Alright, so that's working pretty good. It's really, really smooth. That's better. Alright, I'm just gonna move up the grits and dive dust inhalation. Ooh, pretty. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to run a couple of sanding pads on these. Those I can really dig into these little caved in areas and get a nice smooth touch on there. Nice, that is super smooth. Alright, so now, the fun part, I'm going to spray down my piece lightly, kind of lightly. Cool. I'm gonna let this dry now, which it might take a bit, it's kind of humid out, but I'm gonna let this dry. That'll raise the grain, just like you do with like a cutting board or something. That'll raise the grain out, and then we'll do the last sanding, and it'll make everything super smooth. Alright, so we're just about dry here, so what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna go through that last sanding pad. I definitely have another roughness to it now, since it's obviously not spinning. So I'm gonna go, while it's spinning, I'm gonna use this, and then I'm gonna stop it, and then I'm gonna go with the grain for the very last bit. We are super duper smooth, so now what I'm gonna do is take my parting tool, spin her up. I'm gonna put my mark in where we're gonna be detaching. I want to leave a little bit of the shelf on there, I like it. So I'll probably go right about there. Just like that. And then that'll basically be the length of my piece. I have here, all the way to there. It's a pretty good size handle. Ooh, it steams up real fast talking in here. Switching your viewpoint again so I can actually get in there and use the tools how I need to. I have that down to a little nub, so I'm gonna shimmy this way and do the same. Are you thinking what I'm doing? Because yep, it's right where the hole is. And I forgot that our hole is right there. Alright, so I just talked to the camera for about 3 minutes without realizing it wasn't recording. I just got done wiping the piece down so we can start finishing it. This is a step you technically should do before you cut the piece off of the rest of your blank, but I got a little gung-ho and I'm hotter than hell, so I'm not thinking straight. But I still had a bit of a hole where I knew the center was here, and then obviously the hole for the hardware is still in the front, so I knew exactly where I needed to be. I'm using this wood turner's finish, super simple. You just dump a little bit onto a rag, clean rag, and go. Woo! Alright. And then I'm gonna let that spin for a minute. Alright, round 2 of finish. This has been sitting for about 3 minutes. It's pretty dry at this point. So I'm just going to soak that, put a second coat on. And we wait again. I'm going to do like probably 3 more coats on this. I'm not going to make you sit through that. Although for you it's about 3 seconds. Alright, so here we are all finished up. Damn, look how pretty that is. Love it. Super simple hardware install. You just take this little bit and you get it in there. You make sure you're tightening. Then you want it just below the surface, just like that. Then you take your actual bottle opener, and it is quite literally as simple as just screwing it into the nut you just installed. Keep your jokes to yourself. And eventually, you get to where you need to be. Look at that! Now that is pretty. And that's all there is to it. This one's done. I'm super happy with this, holy crap. Alright, so this is officially the 3rd thing I've ever spun. It's the first thing I've ever actually finished. Not by put finish on, I mean finish like this is done and ready to go kind of finish. Alright, well, that's it for that one, guys. Thank you for sticking around and watching the whole thing. I'm going to be doing a lot more turning. I have a couple other small projects that I'll be videotaping as well. And of course there's the monstrosity I call the workbench, which is still in the works. I am leaving with my wife, Liz, in 2 days for vacation, so I'll finish up the workbench when I get back. We are going with an awesome family. We basically call them our family. They've gracefully accepted us into theirs, and we feel every last bit of love from them. You guys are going to be seeing a video from Lake George. Obviously I'm not going to be building anything there. I don't really think they'll appreciate it if I just start taking trees down and making lumber out of it. So it won't be a building video, it'll be kind of like a lifestyle video. You'll get to meet the whole family that we're going with. You'll meet someone who I'm probably going to be doing a video with in the future, who's actually going to be receiving this. I'm purposely not posting this video until Saturday, so we'll already be there and he won't have his phone with him. He's not going to know about this until he's actually received it on vacation and everything like that. So thanks again guys for watching, I appreciate it. If you want to support me, hit the like button, subscribe, plenty more videos to come. If you want to give me a share too, I would appreciate that. If you have anyone that might be interested in some of the projects I've been doing, shoot my info over. I appreciate every last bit of it. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you next time.